session. So I hope that you will enjoy for the next two sessions. And moreover, the most important thing is, friends, your involvement is the most important. You please involve, you raise the questions. Okay, so like for example, in the morning session, he talk about the journal and the patent publications. So what happens if suppose for example if we publish or can we published in a patent office journal. Okay, so can we publish later on that in our usual journals or not? So these are the things you have to ask and make the clarification here. Okay, so with these words, I think Dr. Rudresh is going to handle these two sessions. So if you have any doubts, so meanwhile also you can have a discussion. It is not necessary to have an end of the session question answer. So meantime also if you have any doubts, if you want any clarification during that session only, you can raise your hand to find me clarifying the things actually. Okay, so now Dr. Rudresh, your session now start.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think Sir has already told, after the lunch it is very difficult to sit in auditoriums or even classrooms. So we usually, even in our engineering college, we used to put more laboratories after the lunch. So they will engage in hands-on, so they will not get sleep. So this presentation definitely will not bore, okay, because it's a pictorial representation instead of theories, right? So we already discussed. It's like a reverse screenplay like Upendra movie, right? So now we already know how to file a patent, right? How to draft a patent and how to search the patent, those things, right? But people will ask, right? How to generate the ideas first, right? I don't have any idea. Then listening to your lectures to make patent is no work, right? So the thing is, we need to focus on these things, that is innovation and design thinking, right? Where usually these things are used in industries. Now, academics also should be used because it will going to bridge disciplines in academia, right? Different disciplines will work together to come out with design thinking process, right? So my next presentation is innovation and design thinking. We already know during my first presentation, that is overview of intellectual property rights, we have seen the definition of innovation. We have seen invention and innovation. Innovation means whatever the invention they have made already earlier, we will convert that invention for widespread usage, right? For example, Graham Bell invented phone, right? That is the invention. But now the mobile phones are innovations where we made the same concept so that the world is using. The numbers of usages become too much, widespread usage, right? That is nothing but innovation, right? And Steve Jobs' statement, right? Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower, right? And I have just given some pictorial representation, right? The three things are very, very important to become an innovation, that is people, right? We need to design something. We need something, right? And it should be collaborated with technology. We need to arise the need, purpose. That will be connected to the technology and converted into a business will become an innovation. If it is only human designs with the technology, it will be usable thing, right? But it's not innovation because innovation is widespread usage, right? And if you collaborate only the human and business, it will become valuable because it generates money. But it is not again innovation because technology is not involved. So all these three aspects, that is human requirements, that is desires, should be connected with technology and should be made a business so that widespread usage will go into form. That is nothing but innovation, right? I'll just show some small examples and again I will come back to you this slides again to understand better on design thinking. So this is one of the projects, okay? So with this picture, what we can understand? Can anyone tell? See, every day we will be seeing some problems, one or other. right? We always want to think in a different way. Even though it may be mechanical project, okay, but we will be seeing every day, right? For example, the Amazon delivery, Flipkart delivery, Swiggy. I don't know how it will be here, but in Bangalore, if you see, even to purchase ice cream, the people are not going outside because they are using apps for everything. We have Blinkit, many number of apps for purchasing the vegetable. Also, people will book in mobile. It will come in 5 minutes. 5 minutes because they have all logistics within 1 kilometer or half kilometer. There will be people standing outside with the bikes. 100 members, right? They will pick and they will come. Even in before in front of the hotel, you see Swiggy, Zomato, number of people are, right? So that's a but the thing is how fatigued to them, right? Even Amazon delivery boys or whatever, they will going to wear all the bags 24 hours to deliver the components. So it's a very risky for them. Means it will going to hamper their body, right? They will get body pain, many things. So one of the students, he took that idea, right? So how to solve that problem? So that normally how the people will ride the bike, it should be comfortable, okay? And it should deliver also. So I designed one bike where this chamber can be converted into a refrigerator also. It can be converted into a hot box, it will keep the parcel hot. Or it can be converted as a logistics of files, books, right? Whatever you want, you can convert that box into a thing, right? So this is a design thinking course. I will come back to it again. I am just showing some example. Okay. And this is one of the projects. For example, in one of the presentation, I was telling elevate, right? So this is one of the students from RV College. She is a chemical engineering student. Okay. She got 80 lakhs, 60 lakhs from Elevate program, right? And she converted her project into a complete large setup. Now it is implemented in Bengaluru municipality as well as Pune. And now the Gujarat is also asking. It is completely automated, right? What she observed during her engineering is, right, whenever we go for Bangalore, you see the garbage. Now, instead of garden city, is now becoming garbage city because of the population, people are throwing, right? So, by seeing, she got many inputs such a way that how this waste is segregated, and she gone visited municipality centers. They were separated by human intervention, and she asked the health of those people who are working on this hazardous waste. So many people are getting ill frequently, those things. So she thought of making a project automated segregation of waste, wet waste, dry waste. Within the dry waste, plastics, metal, like that, automatically it should separate. Okay. So she come out with one product and she developed our project prototype during her final year project. Then she applied for a startup. She registered a startup. Almost it cost 10,000. Then, through that startup registration, she applied for elevated project. She got 60 lakhs. If you see recent newspaper, means 2 months back, Siddaramaiah has inaugurated this in our Greater Bengaluru. So, municipality, he inaugurated. And the complete fund, 60 lakhs, is given by the government for free through Elevate to develop the product. After successful thing, already within 2 months, she got an order from Pune and Gujarat municipality, direct automation, right? Why I am showing these things? Because I will come back again. What is design thinking process? How they got the ideas. I already put in some figures on the left, right? And something means it is requirement. First, we need to focus on requirement. First, we should not have any ideas in our mind, right? And we know, right? I've shown one of the photos previously about CEOs of companies, right? Where they were working in US, Indians. These are all entrepreneurs, right? For example, who is those brothers? Anyone can identify MBA students? First photo. MBA people will know much. Nikhil Kamath brothers, right? Zero the founders, right? So whether they are engineers, right? But they have started with zero the app. They have developed, right? They don't know how to program, right? Like that, you can find n number of entrepreneurs. How they are successful? Because of the design thinking process. right? So, but the thing is, whenever we start, we have success stories also, we have too much failure stories also with respect to startups. If you, even the government, central government has started the startup culture, they are giving money for startups with so many different schemes. But successful startups is less than 10%. Less than 10%. Because within 1 or 2 years, it will vanish. They could not sustain their support, means either to maintain the infrastructure or to maintain the employees, they will not get the returns. So within 2-3 years, the startup will spoil and they will again come back to work in some other organization. Right? The success rate of startups in India is very less. Why? Because they are failing in design thinking. For example, I can show the failure of this company. Whoever seen this in Bengaluru, usually now it is not there. If you have came to Bangalore 2-3 years ago, before Corona, no, in Belagavi. Can you see now in Belagavi this one? Nowhere it is. But I think you have seen in cities. Why it is not there? They have failed in design thinking process. Right? So you know, right, bounce vehicles. Right? So there will be app. There will be no key for any two-wheelers. If you go, if somewhere it will be standing, you can rectify where the bike is. Go, take the app. The code will come. You type that code. The engine will on. Means the lock will on. Start the vehicle. Go anywhere. Drop it. Exit. So the amount will come. It will deduct it from your Google Pay or whatever. That was the concept. Right? This was the first. Rented bike taxis implemented in all Karnataka state, and there are engineering students of Karnataka who have started this from Assam, students from Assam, right? But they have failed in this. What may be the reason? Because they failed in design thinking, right? First, I will tell, so you may get something idea what is design thinking process exactly. Okay? And if you see from 10 years before or 15 years before, all phones are Nokia. Right? First, whenever we started our phone culture, right, when the Reliance introduced that 500 rupees phone, starting, how people got started to use a mobile because 1100. If you see, right, he has given 500 rupees mobile, but only the thing is they were not having SIM, they had CDMA. Means you can use only that Reliance only network only for that mobile. It's not SIM operated, it's a CDMA, right? So we used to use more number of Nokia mobiles. Now in this class, anyone have Nokia phones? You have Samsung, you have Apple, you have OnePlus, then Chinese Xiaomi, right? All other brands you have, but you don't have Nokia. Why? Because they failed in design thinking process, right? They failed in design thinking process. So the thing is, we should have continuous innovation through design thinking process, and timings also matters, right? For example, people are now debating about the movies of Upendra or any other, right? He has given the movie in 1990s or 95. Even if you release now, it will work like that. They will think, right? Some directors, right? So timing is also very, very important when they give, right, the product, right? For example, the Google, they introduced this lens, but it is failed. Why? Because they've left very early to the market, where still the people are not addicted to the technology. So right time is also very, very important, right? So continuous innovations and the time and the design thinking process matters a lot in all other things, whatever we do daily activities, right? So, but we see successful things. Because, for example, iPhone, why they are number, whenever they release new edition, you can see in MG Road Apple showroom, there will be queue. Because there is a passion to people to, I should buy it today only when they release. And even in US also there will be queue to buy the new edition. Right? Because that people have passion to some products. And how many of them still using Reddit, Yahoo mails? Maybe one or two, very few. But people are addicted to Google like anything. Right? You take Google, there are n number of tools. Google Classroom, Google Drive, right? Google Maps, Google Chrome, right? You take anything, there is Google. Why we are addicted? Because they're successful in design thinking process, right? And even whenever we see any mineral water bottle, we say Bisleri water. Actually, Bisleri is a company name, but still we name it as Bisleri. How the brand is impacted, right? And Amul, right? Wherever, for example, can you find if you go for in a flight, they will give meals. Will they give Nandini packets? Even though Nandini is captured very good market in Karnataka, it could not capture the market across India, but Amul captured. Why? Because they are also good in design thinking process. So I will come back and again I will ask after my definitions about design thinking how it is different, right? So we know, right? Coming up with idea is easy. Coming up with the right one takes work. But with design thinking, throwing out what you think you know and starting from scratch opens up all kinds of possibilities. Means, first, in order to make some innovations and invention, you should forget whatever in your mind. With respect to design thinking process. With respect to design thinking process, first you should forget whatever the background you know, right? Whatever you are a very good scientist in some field or whatever, you are a very good research scholar, you forget all the things what you have done, right? That is the first step in design thinking. You should not go with ideas at the beginning. You should be completely like a dumb box. No ideas. I don't have anything. I should not think I am a mechanical engineer, or you should not think you are a literary student, or you should not think you are a social studies student. Forget everything. There should be nothing in your brain first in order to have design thinking process. First and foremost thing, right? In a design thinking process. It looks funny, right? You should forget all the things. For example, if you are computer science student, you forget I am very good programmer. You forget everything, right? So that is the first and foremost thing in to generate ideas. First, you should be completely empty mind, right? So then design thinking. I will explain the steps. Why I say that point that you should come blind means no zero thinking in your mind, right? So what is design thinking is? Design thinking is an exceptional idea generation methodology. First you should have clear nothing in your mind, then you can generate ideas. Why? Because design thinking is human-centered approach, right? A human-centered approach to innovation that draws from the designer's toolkit to integrate the needs of the people, the possibility of the technology, and the requirements for success. So what the core principle of the design thinking is? Focus on the user, not on the product. So first, human-centric should be there. Then zero in your mind. First, concentrate on what the people are required. Then the products will going to be successful. Right? When I explain the steps, you are going to get more on these things. First, you keep two things. First, empty in your mind and concentrate what the people are required. This is the two things you should know. Right? So, what is the principle of design thinking is? It's a structured process focusing on the users, as I already told. Use steps and methods that are defined, which I will explain in next. Power in the whole process, not in the individual steps. And it's a scientific method which considers ideas to be hypotheses to be tested, not definite solutions. We will not directly go for solutions. And inclusion of diversity. That is what in the basic, when I give the title, it is an interdisciplinary approach. You should have all kinds of people with you. Then only you can have solutions for some problem of human to sort it out. So which steps we can understand? What are the 5 steps we have is empathize, define, ideate, prototype and test. These are the 5 steps which the design thinking process works on, right? Connect. What is empathic process is? Connect with and understand the users. Define. You should identify the problem and you should define the problem. Ideate. I will go in detail. Brainstorm lot of ideas. Develop the prototype and testing. And it's an iteration process. So we'll go one by one. Right? So first and foremost thing I told, be clear means nothing in your mind. And second thing is concentrate on human. So why this Google is successful? Why the Apple is successful? Because they work on design thinking process, as I told. First and foremost thing, they will not guide directly. For example, whatever the research scholars, MTech or PhD students, right? Whenever your guide asks, right, you want to do project in masters or PhD, what do you do? You want to do project. First and foremost thing, what do you do? Go Google projects on MBA, list of projects on physics. It's not the thing, right? If you want to work on design thinking process, first we need to empathize people. Don't even first find the problem. Okay, we need to do focus on the people. For what people we need to solve problem. Okay, so we need to contact that problem, that people, and we need to conduct research in order to develop knowledge about what users do, say, think, and feel. So what does Google do? You know how much revenue the Google is generating. Even are you paying for Gmails? Are you paying for Google Chrome? Are you paying for WhatsApp? Then how they are generating the money? How the Google is generating the money through your Gmails? How they are generating the money through Google Chrome? Do you know? Actually, we are giving huge amount of money to them. We have 130 crores people. How many number of mobile users are there? Whenever you use your emails, whenever you use your Google Chrome, we are giving data for them to develop AI models. So how they filter the spam, right? How it will go some mails to the spam, because 10 years ago we have marked those things, right? Manually, it's a spam, right? And whenever we go for Google Maps, right? We give the feedbacks, everything, right? And whenever we go, everything it will calculate the time, right? All data, whatever the apps you are using, we are giving the data to them, where because the company invest in getting the data huge amount. So the Google is getting huge amount of money by selling your data without your permission, right? So whenever you install, you will give accept. Everything you will accept. So all data will be fetched by them. They are collecting the data, they are dumping to the people, and they are optimizing their products very well, right? So the empathize process is conducting the research on the people where I will show for example. Okay, how we do empathize process through interviews, shadowing. Okay, like that. For example, what is empathize process? Suppose I want to solve the problem of old people. Okay, means I want to help old people. That is the concept. I don't have any ideas first because I am completely blind now. Nothing in my mind. I want to do some project. For whom? As I told, it's a human-centric approach. Design thinking is human-centric approach. So we will concentrate on people. I want to help elderly people. So I will directly not decide what to be done on elderly people. First, I will empathize. Empathize means we should show empathy to them. Then only we can connect directly and will get more information on what the people are feel. For that reason only they are given, right? What the users do, say, think, and feel. We will get all the information if you are collected. So, I will going to conduct all the connection. I will speak with them. I will note down all the points, whatever they speak. Right? That is empathize. I will not decided still the product. So, I will going to interact with all the elderly people and I will collect so many information. Okay, that is the first step, empathy. Right? Empathize. So, connect, do the interviews, collect more number of information on the respective peoples. That is the first step. So, I collected all the information. Then, based on the information, whatever I collected, right? I may be a doctor. Whenever the older elderly patient details come, I will collect. For that reason only, I am telling it's a multidisciplinary. Someone not graduate at all, he will go on park. I will ask them to go to the park and collect some information on the elderly people. So he will also collect some information. He is not a doctor or he is not an engineer. Whatever. Like that, multidisciplinary means different people will collect the information from the older people. Once they collect, they done the empathize process. The second step is define. So with that set of data, what they are feeling, what they are thinking, what they are doing, based on that, I will going to research and I am going to define the problem. So what are the different problems they are facing, which is not addressed. right? I will going to list out the problems, right? In pinpointing your users' needs, begin to highlight opportunities for innovation. This will going to create an opportunity. So first, I will going to identify the problems. What may be the problems? I will going to define the problem with respect to the empathize process. What the first step I do, right? Maybe usually what the elder people will always face a problem is, what's the major problem? They feel alone, right? Because in the house, if you are having very grandfathers or grandmothers, all other people are energetic. Someone will go for work. Even women will be there. They will be busy in their own kitchen or other things. But the elderly people will going to sit alone, and he will feel no one is there with me, right? And they will feel alone. That is the major problem, right? So how to solve that problem? So I cannot send some unknown people to his house to go and sleep. Right? Like that, I will going to define the problem. So what are the ways I can solve that problem? So I want to make that people engage. So what? So someone, he wants to go for park, right? He wants to go for shopping, right? He wants to go for temple. So I want to connect with the social people so that his loneliness will going to reduce. Right? So I will going to define the problem like. Right, okay. So still I don't have any idea. I have only the problem. Problem is what? Is having loneliness. So I want to solve that problem. Right? So in the problem statement I will going to write. Right? So I want to solve the problem of elderly people where is feeling the loneliness. How to solve that problem? Right? What are the ways? Again now it will come into different branches. So as a mechanical engineer, what I will think? I want to move him from in his room, in some other thing, whatever, let it be, he is 90 years old, he cannot stand and he cannot walk. So based on my thinking, I will start generating the ideas, if I am only the mechanical engineer. But if I have a diverse of team, the social people will think in a different way, mechanical engineer will think in a different way, physics guy will think in a different way, and uneducated people will think in a different way, right? So once I define the problem, next thing is ideation stage, right? Where brainstorm a range of crazy creative ideas that addresses the unmet user needs, identify the define phase, right? Give yourself and your team total freedom. No idea is too far-fetched and quantity supersedes the quality. Means, the ideation stage is very important. So now I did the empathize process. I focused on certain people because it's a human-centric approach. For that people, what the problem is, then I have written the problem statement. Now ideate is, now the idea generation will start with respect to yourself. Because now I have a multidisciplinary department. Right? Means I have people across all the departments. So for that particular problem, what individual people can give the solution? Now idea starts generating. Right? What I can give. Right? So first I will select on one of the things, that is, I want to move, I will, like that many number of problem statements are there. Each individual problem statement, the people can work. Now I will discuss in a team such a way that I want to move the people from this room to outside. Right? So that you will be connected socially. Right? So that even the crazy ideas also you should accept. Means, whatever, even if the idea is nonsense, you should make a list of it, the different ideas, right? For example, I will start doing some ideation. I want to move the people in different ways, right? Even though these are crazy ideas. For example, skating. Can elderly people, 90 years old, can skate and go? No. Even it's a crazy idea, but we need to list, because sometimes some crazy ideas only will going to build in a different way with some modification, right? And other crazy ideas. He is coming like an angel and flying and going to meet some person. Right? Means I want to move the people from one point to the another point. So I will going to have wheelchair, different arrangements I will going to generate. So I will going to generate n number of ideas. Right? So you can do these ideas through sketches or by listing the points, whatever. Right? So the third step is ideation stage. So with these ideas, all the ideas are not successful. Right? Then you can refine depending on the experience and the group discussion. Then specific, we can go for prototypes. Right? Few models. right? So the fourth step is prototype. Build the real tactile representation for a subset of your ideas. You are going to make subset, and whichever is good, or by thinking, you are going to start developing a prototypes, right? So the goal of this phase is to understand what components of your ideas work and which do not. So when you start developing prototypes, you'll come to know, right, which ideas can work, which ideas do not work. In this phase, you begin to weigh the impact versus feasibility of ideas through feedback on your prototypes. So whenever you're doing the prototype, only you will get many feedbacks, right? So I have developed many prototypes, and I will do how the ideas are converted into prototypes, different prototypes. For example, I will going to create a wheelchair. Some problem will come. How will climb the steps? Right? With that idea, it cannot be. So a modification, right? And he has a biggie thing, how to go there, right? Like that, I will keep on improvising my prototype. Then the final step is test. So I will develop that prototype and I will give to the user where I have concentrated on, right? And he will going to test and give again feedback. Then I can improvise, right? I will give to them whether it can be usable for their movement from one point to the another point, so that they can be connected socially and that problem will be solved. And the thing is, these are the 5 steps, but how industry follows is the same way. Even now, academics are following the same thing whenever they want to do the multidisciplinary research. And this process is not within one iteration, right? How the product Google and all are successful, it's an iteration process. They will collect from you the field informations. They will start developing define the problem. Then they start developing the ideas. With that ideas, they will start developing the prototype. They will test. Again, within each step, it's an iteration process. During defining the problem, you will come to know, I have not done the empathize process perfectly. So you will go back again and do the empathize process. You will come back again for defining the problem. It's an iteration process, right? And again, you will go for ideation stage. Then you will say, oh, I will not define the problem correctly, whatever the data I have collected during empathize process. So you go again, define the problem clearly, come back to ideation stage, then discuss and get more number of ideas. Means it's an iteration stage. So during testing also you may come to know. Whenever you give the product to the elderly people, he may give so many other things. Then you will think that I have not done empathize process correctly only after the testing. Then you will come back again, clearly you do the empathize process, what exactly that older people require. Right? Then you come. So, we should work on the projects human-centered. We have n number of problems across our peoples. It may be agriculture, farmer, or whatever, bus driver, anything. We have different class of people. They are facing different problems, right? We are there here to solve those problems, not with respect to only engineering, even through social studies, right? Whatever we make research, it should be useful for the society. So we need to concentrate on people. For example, sir was telling, we are converting Alagannada to Adhunika Kannada, right? So maybe people are not comfortable to read old Kannada way. It may have many good things, right? So the people who are concentrating on literary, where I cannot read Adhunika Kannada, for them I can give some tool application, right? If I take a picture of that one, right, it should be converted into Adhunika Kannada, right? But it has multidisciplinary approach. So the problem is defined by him, and he can connect with computer science application engineer. He will also get one project. Others also will get one project. So with a combination, we will develop something which will be useful for this society. That is called innovation and design thinking process, right? Which is an iteration process which combines of all these things. So if I come back to this, the first pictorial representation for telling the successful stories or failure stories. Now you think, why the Google is successful? Because they collected all your empathy. Means they have done empathy process such a way that what exactly this group of people is required. For example, Google Classroom they have created. They have focused on teachers and students. What exactly they require. Right? Based on that, they have done many ideation. So on that, they have developed something prototype, they have tested with some certain individuals, then again come back, improvise, right? And again, with the feedbacks, they will keep on improving and they will. So if at all they are concentrated on human-centric approach, means the people who use it is successful. But why Yahoo is not clicked? Why Red is not clicked? Because they have developed some tool and they did not concentrate on what exactly the user wants. Right? So they have failed. Right? Even this one, right? The failure of bones. Why? In that, can you identify what is the failure in design thinking process? After seeing this failure of this product, where they have failed in design thinking? Again, they have failed in human thinking process, right? They started, they have started with an idea. Means, I want to create a taxi bike. But they have not concentrated on people of Karnataka. ಏನೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಏನೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಗಾಡಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬಿಸಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗೋದು ಅವರೇ ನಿಲ್ಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಟೈರ್ ಬಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದು ಬ್ಯಾಟ್ರಿ ಬಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದು ಹೆಲ್ಮೆಟ್ ಕತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದು ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡನ್ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟೆಡ್ ಆನ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ centric process what the people also can do, right? So they would have done security for all those things. Now if you see some e-card, even if you remove that components, you cannot fit in your bike. Athara design ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ component. So theft is not possible at all, right? And ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಫೋಟೋ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. The China for the same bike, just to avoid because they have done human-centric approach. One of the China bike, the same taxi, but it is running in China. What they have done is, even helmet itbiಟ್ರೆ ಅದರ ಲಾಕ್ ಮುಂದೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, then it should sense that the helmet is there. Okay, then only in the app you are going to get you can get out of that. Otherwise it will be running. ನೀನು ಇನ್ನೂ still use ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಇದೆಯಾ ಬೈಕ್ ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. Like that they have made many things because they have worked on human-centric approach. ಏನೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, right? Based on that they thought and they have kept on improvising, right? So it may think like it's all engineering thing, but if you work on whatever the problem, it may be on water, right? It may be on whatever the things, what exactly the problems are associated with respect to problem. If you do, so the social studies people are very good for empathize process, right? So if they do a very good empathize process, then they can form one multidisciplinary students, one batch, and they can define the problem, they can work, and they can take the help. Now, internet is there where you need not to learn everything, right? All are there. You need not to reinvent the wheels. Right? Ready-made solutions are available for that particular problem. So if you are capable enough to solve those problems, you can develop that as a component, as a multidisciplinary approach, right? And you can own a startup, right? You can contribute to the economy of the country, right? So how it is relevant to academics is, it encourages creativity in research and teaching, the design thinking process. Bridges theory with real world applications. So whatever the theory classrooms you study, so if you want to implement it, if you want to convert something, right, it may be basic science research or literature research, whatever. Okay, final thing is it should have real world application, right? And it will collaborate interdisciplinary teams, right? Fosters interdisciplinary collaborations with respect to design thinking process, innovation and design thinking process. So what are the individual roles? Faculty should mentor students to think beyond textbooks, encourage interdisciplinary projects. So you should allow them, for example, if you want to group, you should give permission to them to make a interdisciplinary people projects and create an innovation-driven classroom environment, right? And student roles, they have to apply the classroom learning to solve real-world problems when you connect it with the people who are suffering from that, right? And then second one, right? Ideathons, hackathons, right? If you, not only with respect to ideathons, hackathons means only with respect to software and engineering. If you have an idea, something to solve problem, go and present an idea. You need not to give a solution also, complete solution. If you have idea, people are giving money to develop that ideas and support also, right? Many companies, they do just pitching of ideas because company also require ideas to develop the product. They do many programs to idea pitching competitions, right? Collaborate with different departments, right? For example, using AI to predict plant growth, where it includes botany as well as chemistry for sustainable agriculture. Like that, I can give a number of ideas when I do in the other presentation. Right? So, major thing is we need to identify the problems. That is, means people concentrate on certain people's what the people are. We need to do good empathize process, then define, ideate, prototype. And see, at the beginning stage, your prototype may look like that. You may think, right, at the success, but the beginning only will not be successful. Or let us say during your when you start today, you may not successful. But when your juniors comes, they take the same project, they can continue and improvise, and they can come out with a very good project if they continue, right? So at the beginning stage, the prototype may look like this for one of the product, right? And it may end up like that. Right? So you should not think that directly I can develop any product or process or whatever. Right? We need to think on problems. Right? Right? For example, this also. I will concentrate on software engineers. What their problem is? Coding. So always, so they will get too much pain in their hands. I will concentrate on the people, IT engineers. They have many problems. You cannot do the empathize process. In one of the empathize process, after defining the problems, I have listed too many problems. One of the problem is hand pain. So what ergonomically I can do there, right? Ergonomics change, the keyboard, right? This is also one innovation product. If it solves the problem, they will buy that product, right? It may be simple thing, right? For example, in your apartment or in your flat or in your building, you have arranged the pots. Okay, you will be having some kids, right? They may go jump, right? And it may fall or whatever, right? What other security you can do to such a way that the pot will not fall? Like that, you can find small ideas like this, right? Okay. And one of the small thing, okay. So now I am concentrating on the people, okay, of Bangalore, okay. Where the Bangalore people have become very lazy now. Their health is deteriorating because they are addicted to phones. Physical activity is very less. Okay. So I done the empathize process on Bangalore people of certain locations. Okay. I got many things input that they are feeling many diseases like diabetes, heart disease, knee pain, many things. Okay. So then I defined the problem, many things, and I want to increase the physical activities. Where the people will go, they will go in metro, right? They will go in bus station. Whenever they go in metro, they are using elevators or escalators, right? They are not using steps. Okay. So what I will, after defining the problem, I will start generating the ideas. So let us say you are all my team. We need to generate ideas. So I have done the empathize process, we together. We have defined the problem. We already say that diabetic, many problems. So what the thing is, the outside of the problem is, I want to increase the physical activity of the people. Okay, in many different places. So one of the places we have taken now. Let us say metro. Okay. Now I want to make the people to use staircase, not elevators. What are the ideas you can give? I want to make this. I want to make people to walk staircase, so steps instead of elevator. Okay, that's a funny idea, right? This sir has given an idea. If at all. Reverse side. So if they start, but the thing is, we need to give elevator because even, for example, 100 people are there. Out of 100 people, 2 people are there with exact problem and yet. So if I do that, it will apply for all 100 people. Yeah, you can just give any ideas because I told whenever idea generation, we should take all the ideas. It may be work, whether it will work, it will not work, whatever. Okay, you have to generate ideas. How to encourage the generation of ideas? Means you give what in your team. Let him give funny idea, crazy idea, whatever the type of ideas. You have to list it down. Okay, because some crazy ideas also will work very good. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, sir will tell that very slow, so that someone will, at least we can push someone. If at all they have time, too much of time, they will go. But he wants to catch some other train or some other thing, at least he will go in the escalator. That is also one idea. Right? Then,
steps.
Sensors.
On the steps.
Okay.
Somebody steps in that.
Lights should get on. Okay. So, if at all lights should get, maybe someone may like that one. Then, if you put a, no, not only if you luggage, how you will avoid that. There are things, right? If, for example, if you go for hospitals, the lift is only for patients. How many will follow? Right? People who used to use lift and they will go, even they are not patients. Right? Then, okay, this is also one of the idea. I will put a board. Okay. Quotations, not only boards, signboards, right? Even those who are smokers, right? In the cigarette packet, with the photo, you will get the cancer like this. Till you will take and will smoke, right? Then, that is also idea. Means we need to collect, but during prototype stage, we will think whether it will work or not. And test it again. For that reason only, we need to collect all the ideas. Right? Then,
we can give a concession for tickets.
We will give the concession for tickets. Then, that is also good. So, if they use the escalators, they can do some punching. That I have gone through this, okay, with some technology. So that next time, whenever you buy the ticket, 1% reduction in price. That also motivates. Then, like that, see. So, when you have done empathize process, when you have done the defining problem, when you started ideation stage, you will get n number of ideas. Those who ask how to generate the ideas, right? Whether it is novel or not, we'll think later. If you collect the ideas, then we'll think, right? Whether it is novel ideas, whether you think by someone or what, right? So if I follow this procedure, definitely we'll get number of ideas. But the thing is, we need to concentrate on the people for whom we need to solve the problem. It may be through social studies, it may be through literature, right? Whatever you do, why you are doing those research? To help the society, right? At the end, we have to help the society, right? So this is one of the ideas. Means you can adopt all these ideas, whatever you do, right? What they made, right? One of the video, it's not a Bangalore, okay? So instead, the thing is, when they come out of this metro, they have a signals, okay, in the road, okay? They have fixed the one amplifier, means sound system, okay? And they converted the staircase as an harmonium. It's the piano. Whenever they stamp on one of the thing, it will come one sound. Okay? So, the thing is, it will going to listen not only for that signal, even inside the metro also they will listen the music. And it gives good music actually. Okay, the audio is not coming, otherwise it will stop. So, whenever they started doing 1-2 people, they used to get very good sound. So, it creates something, right? So, they started walking on the staircase and jumping, whatever let them do. So, it is increasing the physical activity of the people, right? So, the health will improve. My problem is solved, right? Hence, it's a small example. Like that, we can implement this design thinking process in all the fields, right? Again, after 1 week, if you do, the people who are using every day, they will lose the interest. We need to do some other thing. So, the thing will be there, right? For that reason, what the Google also doing, right? Improvements in the product. They will keep on doing updates in your Android. You will get frequently updates in your Android phone. What the people will do, whatever the problem they are getting, they will keep on applying improvement procedures. They will give new additions. Right? Similarly, Here one more example. It's just funny because I collected because this will go into our mind easily. Okay. In a park, okay, or let us say in a university. Okay, how many students here they will put whatever they eat only in the dustbin? Okay, they will sit here in the park, they will eat whatever the food packages they will throw here and they will go. Right? Similarly, everywhere is the problem. So now I collect, let us say I have done the empathize process. Means I require more number of people to clean my campus. Okay. So budget is not there to give the employability that many numbers to go around my campus and to collect it. Right? I have done empathize process. I have defined the problem. Okay. Means I need to reduce the waste so that I can give very little employability to clean all my campus. Right? So I installed the dustbins. Right? But I want to make the people to use dustbins. What are the ideas you can make? What are the ideas you can make? That is what ideation stage is required. Right? So now we require branches for these problems and all. Whether we require science background, engineering background, commerce background, we are solving societal problems. Right? You may not design the dustbin. Right? You give some task to other one who knows that problem. But first your idea generation is required. Right? What are the things you can make? Again, same thing we can tell, right? Sir told one give discount. Similarly, whenever they use dustbin, let their university seat number they can type, okay, and they will go to get some points. And their graduation time, some award. Whoever scores good ethics marks, there is a special award during your Rani Channamma University convocation. Means idea, right? Like that, you can develop any number of ideas. What they did, again, sound is not coming. Okay. Yeah. What they made in sound? Can anyone guess? Can anyone guess? The language you cannot understand. It's a French language. What they did is the deepest dustbin in the world. The deepest dustbin in the world thing. So whenever you put something in the dustbin, the sound will come. Whenever we throw some stones on a deepest well, right? We'll wait, then it will drop and it will come sound. So like that, the sound will going to come. After a long interval of time, the sound will come. And the crazy, then the people will come and after listening to the sound, after throwing it, after seeing and throwing, then we can see, actually sound is not coming, otherwise it will be good. They will listen, how it will come. Means the world's deepest dustbin. Okay, world's deepest dustbin. So by observing the sound, but to check these things, the people used to collect nearby waste and they used to throw. And see, they don't have anything but to check it. People have collected the dustbin and thrown just to hear the sound, listen to the sound. But actually, the dustbin is only this length. Only the device creates that sound whenever they put it with sensor. Actually, the real time of many Japan people also will do, right? Many these things are all. So the thing is, this is about how to generate the ideas when we follow design thinking and innovation process. This completes my presentation. Any questions to be asked, you can ask. I will take next 30 minutes maximum. Right? Just to glance, because within one session we cannot cover this, but at least why? Because why I am giving this presentation, innovation and design thinking, this one, because we have different degrees, right? And people will used to think only through conventional education methods previous, right? Only get the degree, do the write the exams with respect to syllabus. Definitely, it will not work in the future, right? Because you know what's the competition we have across all other private institutes. What are the degrees we are generating? For example, in my campus, in engineering alone, we have 22 branches, right? So very huge competition, and with that engineering students, we degree students also should compete, right? Now the computer science, what the people graduating, they were working in everywhere, right? So to create the jobs, these are all multidisciplinary approach are too much required, right? Okay, so that is about innovation and design thinking. Those who are asked how to generate the ideas. Yeah.
And Japan, Tokyo Metro, they have done one small initiative. Metro, normally people will use, a lot of people, and Japan being a technically improved region or country. So they have made an aesthetic. In fact, the equipment device looks just like a piece of pizza and triangular, and they have arranged it. So when people walk on that, it generates electricity through the and that electricity they are using it for the same metro and the maintenance of the system.
Yeah, that only. There are, if I concentrate on some to solve human-centric approach problems, to make something we can generate n number of items. Even though we are not good electronics engineer, even I don't know. So for example, I am purely mechanical background guy where I have not done programming at all in my life. But now I am working in robotics and artificial intelligence. I will teach students AI because I learned within 6 months. Right? If it is all depending on requirement. Even when I did mechanical engineering, masters, PhD, I never used any small computer software program in my entire courses. But now I am teaching AI. Okay, it requires need, right? Need based. If I require something, they have transferred me and they have given me HOD actually, robotics and AI. Okay, I served 1 year and then since I am deputy controller, I could not do both jobs. Okay, but I learned within 6 months how to cope up with AI and I am now teaching AI subjects. Okay, so even the non-engineering, non-science branches, non-computer science branches also use AI because this is future, right? Whatever the course you take, AI will be there, artificial intelligence, right? So now the last session is an artificial intelligence, a cross-disciplinary approach to research and innovation. So for example, you want to write papers, right? Again, same thing. You want to do publication means, now in your paper, whatever the field you are, if you put AI, machine learning, it will get easily published, right? But you are afraid how to implement this AI because I don't know software coding, right? At the end, I will show within 5 minutes how without coding also you can do AI, right? Machine learning. So we all know, right, how our human cognition abilities work, right? So how the left brain functions, how the right brain functions, we all know, right? The modern AI is nothing but convergence of both this, right? Logic and creativity functions, right? So what is AI? Artificial intelligence is the process of mimicking human intelligence for actionable insights and profit, right? Mimicking human intelligence. Suppose let us say a child is born, right? Whenever he born, you know what is apple and mango? No. After 1 year, after 2 years, at least you will be recognizing apple and mango, which is apple and which is mango. How? Their parents used to show, right? Apple, apple, this is Tata, this is Ajji, right? Amma, Appa, right? By telling only, right, the intelligence will build. That is nothing but artificial intelligence. We are giving computers the same thing, the previous data, everything. And we are teaching that software to identify these things. That's all, right? So, how college. First time whenever you reported to this college, first day if you find he has been not knowing the roads, how to come, right? But how you know now, right? By training your mind, right? Similarly, auditorium, whenever you have not attended any function here, you will not knowing where the auditorium is. Now if you say Kuvempu Sabangana, directly you will come and sit because it is trained. Similarly, the artificial intelligence work in the same way, right? We train the computer with the old data, right? So that the computer will mimic the human intelligence, kind of an intelligence, right? For actionable insights and profits, right? So we know, as I already told, how they recognize apple and mango, right? So our intelligence is nothing but will remember, formulate and predict, right? We always remember things. For example, what is apple, what is thing. Formulate and we will going to predict. For example, by seeing the ambience, will say, will predict the rain. Hey, rain will come now. By how? Right? Because it is trained, right? We can remember, we can formulate, right? And we can predict also. The same thing the computer will do with the previous data. That is nothing but artificial intelligence, right? So we have 4 types: descriptive AI, diagnostic, predictive, and perspective. What is descriptive? It will tell only explain what happened. I will show you one example. What happened? Okay. Diagnostic means why it happened. It will diagnose the problem, why it has happened, right? Predictive, it will going to forecast what might happen, right? And perspective, it will going to recommend an action based on the forecast. Means what you have to do, right? This all 4 things is possible in AI, right? Descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, perspective. For example, I have a shop or I have a business. Okay. I have done this. Means descriptive AI means, as I already told, explain what happened, right? So I can easily find how many customers do I have. Yesterday I have another customers, right? I can easily have, right? Diagnostic means explain why it happened. Means some customers are leaving. Okay, for example, I am having a hotel or something where I cannot get the repeated customers. Okay, our number of customers as I predict. Why did these customers gone? Okay, reasons. It may be because of taste, whatever, right? Why did these customers churn? Predictive. Which customers will going to leave now? Where that also we can predict, right? And then perspective. The customers right? This customer should get some discount or whatever. You give some recommendations, right? So all these 4 things the AI will do, right? For example, you don't know, in order to install a hotel in Bangalore, they are using AI. Based on the Swiggy data, Zomato data, they are collecting information. For example, HSR level. Okay, how much non-veg eaters are there? How much biryani lovers are there? Based on that, the biryani hotel will be set up in HSR level. That kind of work the people are doing with AI. Okay, so how AI is related to a hotel owner, right? So similarly, all fields are required AI now, right? So for this, main thing is data. Without data, AI is nothing. For that reason only I told, right? You are paying Google. Actually, you are enjoying, right? I am using Google Chrome free. Gmail is free. Google Maps free, right? All you are sending them data. Through that data, they are making the money like anything, right? For example, if you see the interview recently, Mukesh Ambani and one of the founder, okay, of top AI company in US, okay, NVIDIA. Okay, NVIDIA, they have said this population, that NVIDIA founder, how much money from India is going to US because of data. Okay, if you for that reason only China, if you see, they are not using any Google products. They have developed their own. They don't have Facebook. They have own social media, right? The TikTok, like kind of thing. TikTok they are using. similar kind to Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or Gmails. They have own indigenous, their own developed product. They are not using Google. Why? Because the data will be simply go for US, they will make the money. Instead of that, they are using their data to improve the products, to their research, whatever. Right? So that the data is very, very, very important. For your field also, whatever the data, that data if you have, you can apply the artificial intelligence to that. AI require only numbers, means not only numbers, the data, right? And domain knowledge. Without domain knowledge, AI is nothing, right? Even we can run, for example, if you give the data of your field, chemistry or whatever, I don't know, let us say chemistry thing in depth. I can run some AI programs and whatever I can do, but feature engineering, I will tell what exactly it is. Okay, it requires domain knowledge. So AI is just a tool with the domain knowledge. So if I want to solve a problem in chemistry or pharmaceutical industry, I should have domain knowledge of the chemistry. If I want to solve a problem on mechanical, even I know AI, I should have domain knowledge of that specific problem. Similarly, whatever the type of field you take, domain knowledge is very, very important. So with the domain knowledge, AI you have learned, you are the superior, right? So two things are very important, data and domain knowledge, right? And what usually people think AI, right? What people think AI look like? There's something called intelligence. You put in AI, all the things will come immediately at the end. Only two steps. AI, something is there. Let us say one box, you think there's a box. You put in that, you will get output. Is it correct? So AI reality is data, right? So you have different. So data mining, data science is very, very important. In order to convert into a value, it may be anything, right? So this is very, very important, data mining. And for example, you have taken, I will show one of the problems. Okay, so during that time I will explain. So data is very highly important. Okay, so data science is very highly important with respect to AI. Okay, so why AI? You know, right? It's there in all the fields. If you take space, robotics, resource management, right? How we optimize this power, right? Electricity, everything now is through AI. Resource management, water management, everything is AI implemented now, right? So industry, entertainment, science, healthcare, labor, means robotics, wherever you take. Okay, so everything is with AI, right? And some of the AI applications, AI, again, I will tell what is machine learning. So ML is machine learning. For example, I want to detect faces, right? So whenever you go for biometric, right, the face will be detected and it will find you, this is the person who, right? Similarly, in China and all, individual identity, they are collecting data like anything, means to check the thieves and other things in the highly crowded places, they will implement these things to identify, because they have huge amount of data with respect to the criminal cases and other things, they will easily identify who is criminal. Then medical image processing, for example, in your medical electronics, some branches will be there, right? They will be working on medical. You are going to have so many medical images, right? So how the doctor will going to identify the tumor is there with this expertise. Now the expertise is very number of less numbers, right? So by using AI, you can easily tell where exactly the tumor is there, right? Through image processing, medical image processing. Similarly, like that, we have many already told detecting tumors in brains, right? Then in your literature, right? Automatically you can classify news articles, right? Which is sports, which is other things. If you put it, and automatically flagging offensive comments and discussion forums, right? Summarizing long documents. As in the first day, you were showing ChatGPT how it will summarize everything through AI only, right? And to predict what will be your next year performance matrix, everything, right? These are all some of the examples. So AI is generic word which comprises of machine learning, artificial neural networks, deep learning. right? We already spoken about what is AI, which mimics human intelligence, right? Machine learning means it's an ability to learn without being explicitly programmed using past observation. Means suppose you may, in your research, you will be applying all statistical tools, right, for your analysis, right? So every time the problem change, what you will do? To do the analysis, statistical analysis, what you will do? For new problem, you will again start from the scratch, right? So how much time consumes? But machine learning will avoid, means it is explicitly programmed using past observation, right? Such a way that you need not to program again and again, right? And I will not cover artificial neural networks and deep learning. This is also a subset of the AI. Okay. What I want to concentrate on, usage of machine learning. This is a part of AI where all branches can utilize if you have a data, right? So machine learning is a branch of artificial intelligence that focus on developing models and algorithms that let computers learn from data without being explicitly programmed for every task. You need not to program every task, right? If you have developed a model, that will work. In simple words, machine learning teaches the system to think, understand like humans by learning from the data, right? So with the examples you will clearly understand. So I'll just skip because of shortage of time. Main thing we'll learn machine learning life cycle. For example, I have defined the problem. Whatever the problem, your respective domain. Okay, I have collected the data, right? Then the next step is data cleaning and pre-processing. What is data cleaning and processing? Means, for example, you have done some testing, okay, or you have done surveys in social studies. Whether all the people have given all the data, some blanks will be there, right? So I want to do the pre-processing and cleaning of the data. Means where the blanks are there, where invalid data, I need to filter it out. I have lakhs of people's of survey, right? All the lakhs of people's of survey I will not utilize. Similarly, whenever you have done some experiments in chemistry or physics, you have collected many number of parameters. Some are missing, some are invalid. So we need to do the data processing after collecting, right? Then we need to do exploratory data analysis. Means how it relates to one to another. For example, how the caste is related to the economy, right? One parameter is related to the other. How the gender is related to some other parameters. Like that, we are going to do some exploratory data analysis, right? How many females is there? How many males are there? Like that, you will do some bar charts, right? That is nothing but exploratory data analysis. And the very, very, very important thing is feature engineering and selection, right? That is what I said. Domain knowledge is required for this step. Feature engineering and selection. I will tell what exactly it is. Feature, for example, one is related to the another. For example, in Amazon, okay, there are n number of customers. Okay, so how someone is buying some product is based on so many other parameters. So the features is maybe many things, and whether it's buying or not is the target, right? So features, in order to select, I should have the domain knowledge. Right? So feature engineering is the independent variables. The target is dependent. So the output is dependent on the dependent variable. Sorry, independent variables. So the independent variables are nothing but features. So whether these features affect that one, we need to know. So which features should be selected, which features are not selected is based on the domain with respect to your knowledge with domain. Right? For example, with respect to my domain, my laptop will going to fail or not is the target. I want to predict. Okay. So what are the features? The power, right? The amount of usage, the time of usage, right? And whatever. Okay. The duration of purchase, the model. There are different features. These are all features. So I want to know in that table whether the model is a feature, whether it will affect the performance of the laptop or not. Right? Or the power, capacity, whatever it is coming, it affects my battery or laptop or not. So I want to select those features, whether it will hamper my failure of the laptop or not. These are the features. Failure of the laptop is target, whether it will happen or not. Right? Similarly, for your problem, you need to select what are the features and what is the output target you are taking. Then model selection. That is nothing but algorithms. We have many things, right? I will tell you. Actually, within 1 hour we cannot tell, but I will give some idea. For example, classification and regression problems are there. Okay. If I have in one bunch of basket, okay, if I ask my kid, 2 years old kid, to classify apples one side, banana one side, or another fruit one side, right? So we have models for that. Algorithms are there, classification models. Similarly, regression models are there, right? Means in order to predict the value, for example, you are getting some, when you do experiments in physics or chemistry, you are getting some output numbers with certain variables. If you put some ingredients of H2SO4, whatever, right? You are getting some output number, right? So in order to predict that number, we use logistic regression or linear regression as the model selection. So like that, I want to select what type of model, and I want to train the model. Means I have a data, I will going to divide that into 80% of training data, testing data as 20%. So I want to train, as I tell, right? The kid dash, this is apple. To show the apple, I want to have some data, right? I have my hand. Similarly, I want to train the computer, so I want to have the training data. This is already I have done experiments. I have everything. I have already published papers. So that data should be there with you. That you should input to the model. To train means these are the parameters. So if these parameters, independent parameters are there, I am getting this output parameter. So next, whenever you give only input parameter, it should tell this will be the output. That is what the machine learns, right? You are going to train the model from a model, then you will evaluate, as I said, right? You will get new set of data and you will going to evaluate whether it is with the testing data. In testing data, I will give only input, but I know already the output, what is this? But I am testing whether it gives the same or not. So one model evaluation and training is done. If accuracy is good, you are going to deploy. So that model you can use. If you put only the input variable, you need not to do any experiments. It will give exactly the value where when you do the experiments, whatever the value you will get through machine learning, right? And then once you deploy the model, you are going to maintain the model. So this is the life cycle. Okay. So as I already told, we have algorithms, right? Labeled data means we are going to give this is apple, this is banana, this is mango, this is thing, right? We are going to label and we are going to feed it. We are going to train the algorithm. So whenever you give unlabeled data, some photo of any other fruit with this which is already trained, it will tell and predict this is what the fruit is, right? That is how the machine learning works. So what are the different types of machine learning we have? Mainly, let us forget other self-supervised and semi-supervised, supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. What is supervised learning is, it is trains model on labeled data to predict or classify new unseen data. Means, as I already told, right? There will be one supervisor to tell this apple, this mango. This is a labeled data, right? I have all in the Excel sheet. I have this, right? This is the nanometer particle size. Okay, this is the density of the material. So this is the so and so x and y parameters. So this is labeling I have already done on my data, right? And I have done for the output also. I am expecting something. Okay, output x y z. So this is x y z. I am expecting the output. So this is everything is labeled data. I am training this labeled data is nothing but unsupervised learning. Sorry, supervised learning. Unsupervised learning means I don't know what exactly the output name is, but I want to classify the people. Or classify clustering you have to make the data. Where exactly it will fit. Right? That is called unsupervised learning, which works on unlabeled data. Right? And reinforcement data is it will learn through environment, means trial and error. Right? It will learn by its own reinforcement learning. Right? Learns through trial and error to maximize rewards ideal for decision making tasks, especially for, I think you are seeing right in US, there is no driver in the car. The car will, if the car will come, you sit, it will going to deliver. Right? It will learn by environment. Someone suddenly comes. If you just only do supervised learning, if that case doesn't come, it will hit and go. Right? Reinforcement learning is it will going to learn by the environment. Means the algorithms are capable enough to learn by themselves. Right? But for your field at this stage, you need not to go to reinforcement learning. You can go for supervised learning. Because all the problems, whatever we are now solving, all are supervised problems. Because all data, whatever you do, social science, physics, chemistry, whatever, everything is supervised data only here. Right? As I already told, supervised data will have labeled data. Means what exactly it is, we will go into define. For example, apple, mango will tell this is apple, this is mango with label. I will give the input as this is apple, this is this one. Similarly, if I give this is triangle, this is circle, everything will be named and it is given to the algorithm, right? And it will go into whenever we give new data, test data, but we are not giving the label for them. I will just input triangle. It will go into put this is triangle. If I give circle, it will predict it's a circle. That is what supervised learning is, right? But in unsupervised learning, we will not give the names, right? But it will go into cluster. Based on what? It doesn't know whether it is an apple or orange. Okay? But it will go into cluster. Based on that, we can think this is apple, this is cluster. Orange. Okay, it will make cluster based on the figure. We have not given the input data. Whenever we have given unlabeled data. Means we have not named this is apple, this is orange. We have given simply the images. But it classifies one type and another type. So then, based on my experience, I can decide this is apple, this is means just an example. Okay. Reinforcement learning is learn by actions, by trial and error method, right? And as I told, there are n number of techniques: linear regression, okay, decision tree. These are all it will require course. But this thing is, if you learn as a course, it's purely mathematics, okay, and it's difficult to digest even for me also. But if you run through programs and software, no, it's very easiest to do AI, right? For example, let us understand an easy way. Okay, what is supervised machine learning? So now PM USHA scheme is there. Professors are organizing n number of FDPs, right? I don't know how many people have came by interest or how many number of people came by force, right? So let us take that case. Predicting faculty development program attendance by participants. Okay, as a supervised machine learning scenario. What is the problem statement is, Rani Channamma University organizes the FDPs regularly. Okay. The organizer who is organizing wants to predict the likelihood of faculty members attending an FDP based on the previous historical data. Again, as I told, to do whatever AI, you require data, historical data, whatever the experiments you have done, whatever, right? So you already had the data, right? Huge number of data, who is participated, professor 1, student 1, research scholar, n numbers, their departments, their age, their qualification, everything data you have collected. While doing registration, we collect everything, all the data, right? So by using supervised machine learning, we can predict the likelihood, who will attend, right? Who will attend. So for them only we can send 3 invitations. Rest of them we can ignore if I predict them, right? So this prediction can help with better planning. So instead of planning in this large room, I can do in a computer lab where we can do hands-on for only 10 members for those interested candidates, right? I can predict, I can plan better planning, resource allocation, right? And targeted invitations. Only will send the invitation for those people. Then how to predict based on historical data through machine learning supervised, right? We need to have labeled data. What is that? I told target and features. What are features means? That is what I tell. Feature engineering requires domain knowledge in your field, right? I have used number of Excel sheet which has so many data. What is the output we are expecting from that Excel data? You do research on so many statistical analysis, right? That is the output, right? So feature engineering requires which data should be selected. For example, in my data, I have many features. For example, age of the participants, gender of the participants, designation, whether it's a research scholar, associate, assistant professor, or is a BSc student, MSc student, everything I have. And here, whether he is a student, which year, here, then if it's a faculty, how many years of experience he has, then whether he has participated the previous FTP, yes or no, right? How many research publications he has on this respective field, technical skills, whether he have any programming, basic programming language. Like that, I have collected n number of features. Okay, so all these features will influence, that is the target, whether the person will going to be able to attend, means whether the FTP will going to attend, means after that I know, right, the attendance also I know from the previous. I know during registration all the data, his age, cadre, all the things I know, and I already have the attendance. If it is correctly written, if we are given simply attendance, no, that is not cooked data, right? I have already know, right? So based on that individual thing, if he has attended, what is the percentage of attendance we will be having? So based on that, if I train, right, it will going to take all the features and it will going to give me for this features. If I give next, when you give the registration, right, if I get this thing, if I given the model, it will going to give list who will attend, who will not attend. For them who will going to attend, for them only we can send the invitation. Right, this is supervised learning. Right. So possible use cases is, from this you can predict which faculty members are likely to attend, whether assistant professors are interested, professors are interested, deans are interested, research scholars are interested. You can easily predict, and so that they can send only the invitation to them to increase the participation, so that they can improve the FTP design for topics, schedules, etc. Right? So that again works on data, previous data. Unsupervised learning means to understand unlabeled data, right? So instead of predicting attendance directly, we aim to group the faculty. We are not predicting the attendance, whether you will attend or not. We will go into group. Highly involvement, people will show highly involvement, moderate involvement, very less involvement. So we need to group the people. That is unsupervised learning case scenario, right? It's a cluster based. For example, I shown, right, if I give some images, it will cluster apples, bananas separately. Similarly, it will cluster the people, right? So again, we can personalize the FTP invitation, identify different faculty segment based on interest, availability, and experience by using different tools. I will skip. Okay. So here I can segregate three things. Okay. Highly engaged faculty, one category through the data, previous data. Moderate engaged faculty I can categorize, and low engaged faculty. For them, separate things can be done. What we can do? For highly engaged people based on the previous data, I can invite them for advanced FTP, not again the same basic FTPs. Whenever I organize on the same topic, the advanced FTPs, I can call them, right? Or even I can call them as speakers, because they have learned already for the next basic program. I can call them as speakers inside through that data. Moderate engagement faculty offer incentives like free registration. So if I give free registration, so they will know more number of FTPs. Very low engagement faculty, we can identify the barriers, right? Maybe they are the other colleges to attend, they are not giving the attendance, right? Or DA to travel, whatever, right? Or they have very high workload within the campus, so they are not attending. So at least we can identify that what are the parameters, right? So this is clustering, okay? Of the unsupervised machine learning. Similarly, reinforcement learning is, it will use trial and error method to optimize, right? So instead of just predicting the attendance, we aim to dynamically optimize FTP scheduling and participant engagement using trial and error, right? So we use reinforcement learning because it learns, right, from the actions, okay, based on the faculty feedback. So use case an AI-powered FTP scheduling system that continuously improves faculty participation. Means the AI will generate the schedules based on your inputs. Okay, reinforcement learning, instead of 5 days continuous things, it will going to learn and give an action plan how to schedule it. Okay. So this little bit complicated. I will skip. I want to just show, because why I am just giving the small introduction, because I want to make you such a way that AI is easy for your work especially. Okay. So AI is not just a technical tool, but it's a cross-disciplinary catalyst for research and innovation. Its integration across fields, new knowledge creation, efficiency, and transforming outcomes. It's not no more CS subject. It is a multidisciplinary subject, right? AI is a tool. Okay. In order to explain with a case study, okay, one of the case study, I will show how the programming is done. Similarly, without programming, how to solve this problem. You can adapt for your domain problem. Okay. Suppose this is very simple example, and usually whenever we start machine learning, we usually start with this example. It's very easy to understand. It's an iris data set. For example, in one of the UK, right? They have one hill. There the flower will come, iris flowers. Okay, but they have three varieties: setosa, versicolor, virginica. Only one type of flower, but I have three types within that. Okay, iris setosa, iris versicolor, iris virginica. These are the three different flowers within one kind of a flower. Okay. So I want to classify this. Okay, whether it is a setosa, whenever I take a new flower, okay, I want to classify immediately whether it is a setosa, whether it is a versicolor, whether it is a virginica. Okay, the kind of flower. How I make? I have collected data sets of 50 samples in each. Okay. So what data set I collected? I have gone for that hill. Okay. The name is Anderson, who collected this data. Okay. What he collected is, he collected 4 data of each flower. Okay. What is that? Sample length in centimeters, sample width in centimeter, petal length in centimeter, petal length in centimeter. Okay, this petal width it should be. Okay, I will just type petal width and petal length. Okay, 4 data. Okay, it's small mistake. So what they have taken? They have taken from the same pasture, means one hill only. Okay, and they have taken the data on the same day, and they have measured by the same instrument and by the same person. So how many data they have collected? 50 data of all 3 types of colors. Okay, so this is sample, this is petal. Okay, for 3 different categories, which is petal, which is sample is mentioned. He will going to measure the width, he will going to measure the length. Width and length for all the 3 categories. 50 times he collected. Okay, so now I have Excel sheet. Okay. What is that Excel sheet? This one. Okay. What is named 1, 2, 3 numbers? Okay. So how many varieties I have flowers? 3. Sorry. 3 or 4. 3. So how many data should be there? 150, because 50 each flower I have measured. 50 flowers I have taken. I have measured 50 data. What I measured? 4 data sets. One is sample length, sample width, petal length, petal width. And I told after measuring whether it is a setosa by 50 flowers, versicolor 50 flowers, virginica 50 flowers. This Excel data I have. But next, through machine learning, what I want to predict? Now you tell me which are the features which are target. As I told, features and target. In out of this, okay, this is number, serial number, don't worry. Okay. Out of this, which are features and which is target? Target is species. I want to find which species it is. Features is length and width. So, whenever someone comes, we cannot identify. Why the machine learning and all coming is we are finding less number of expertise. Someone comes, he is not able to identify. For example, if I go to that hill, I cannot identify whether it's a setosa or virginica or whatever. right? But if I give that values, it will give exactly this is the program based on the machine learning model, right? So we need to make that model. So if I go again, in 10 minutes I can show. So machine learning life cycle, problem is defined. That is, I want to identify the type of flower. I have collected the data. What the data collected? Length, width, this type of flower. Data cleaning and processing. Now I collected simple. For example, whenever I measured, let us say I measured 200, 10 extra, 180. Out of that, some I have not measured the length, some I have not measured the width. Blanks is there, right? What I have to make, that are all again one course in data thing. Okay, we will not concentrate on that. So I will going to remove those rows. Okay, that is nothing but data cleaning and pre-processing. Right? Whenever you collect the data, you may have some unwanted data also. Okay. In addition to that, let us say I have two more different things. Okay. So what are the cleaning process I want to make within Excel sheet? I will make it. Okay. Then exploratory data analysis. What is that? So now I will go for programming section. Okay. So this is Jupyter Notebook where I am using Python programming. As I told you, I am not good programmer, but how I can make it by using AI. Right? Even if you do mistakes, it will correct and give me the program. And it's a free version, not paid version also. Right? So in the Python, there are n number of libraries. You need not to code too much. Okay, those who do not know programming. Okay. So I will not go in there. It may, since you don't know Python means it may be difficult to digest. But I will tell, for example, my file I have there, right? In CSV file I showed this one. I have imported this one. Okay, where? Through this. Okay, what I did is, this is a Python programming library. Okay, to import any file, Excel file or CSV file, I am going to introduce pandas. Okay, this is a library. Through that, I am going to read that. Okay, and I have written a code and I have given print only first 10. Means I want to look into data analysis. I am doing now that with respect to this slide, exploratory data analysis. Means I want to check about the data. What are the data I have? So now I got to know ID is there, sample length is there, sample width is there, like that. This is okay. And I will going to get the information. Information means whether it's an integer, whether it's a text data, like that. So it is indicated whether it is integer, you know, right? Integer, float. If you have decimal point, it will give as float. If it has name, it will going to indicate as object. Right? Next. Okay. I have to drop column means I don't want serial number for my data analysis. So I want to remove the ID column from this file. So I am going to use drop the column. So now the column ID is gone from the Excel sheet. Okay, I have only these features. Okay, and then I will going to check how many number of data are there. Okay, how many rows and columns? So 150 rows, 5 columns. I am doing just data analysis. Okay, then within one line, see if you do mistakes also it will give. For example, if I type some wrong thing, okay, and I will start running the program, each subset. Okay. I have typed something right. Some wrong came. I don't know to. You just put fixed code, right? Automatically the AI will going to fix the code, right? It will run the error, and if you type yes, correct code kodla anta kelidide, yes anta kelidide, it will give, right? And export and run your chat notebooks and the press madidre, it will go and it will correct by itself, right? And you can run it. Yeah. Right? So like that you can do n number of data exploration. Okay, confusion matrix, whatever. Okay, so this looks very complex to you, right? Yes or no? but we have the same thing, okay? Same thing we have like a tool called Orange. Okay. See why I am showing this, because you can explore all YouTube channels are there. Okay. To help. So this doesn't require any program, any coding is not required. Okay. Suppose for example I want to do the exploratory, so whatever, same program, whatever, okay, I have done through programming, I can do through this Orange. Okay. So what? I will just drag and drop, that's all. I will drop a file. From this file I want to import my file. Okay. Whatever the Excel sheet file I have. Okay. Within this, I want to, since I have done already, it's showing. Okay. So let us say all I will change to this. So like whenever you import it will come. So now I want to put within the data I already know, right? ID I want to neglect it. Serial number. So you can change, skip. Right? And species, it's a text data. I want to make it as categorical. And it should be target. This is what I want to keep it as a target. That's all. Right? My data is ready. Right? Then, whatever the thing I did in programming, okay, this data analysis, all the things, model training, everything, I can do just by drag and drop. Okay. For example, data table. If you just connect it, double click, all the data will just show you. Whatever the data is, you need not to program. Right? And if you want to collect the features that these things. Okay, for example, I want to know how it is varying 1 to 1. How many data we have, sizes. Everything we can check with respect to data sets. Right? And data information, if you want to check, you can check how many rows are there, how many columns are there. Right? And like that, you can put many things. What are the other things you can make? Distribution. And if you want, you can search the toggle. So like this, you can drag and drop whatever we have done through programming. Right? You can just do through. Just drag and drop and connect it. You can learn nothing, right? It's not difficult at all. Dragging, dropping, connecting, and you execute it. You will going to get the output how I got through programming. Right? So whatever this complex process I did through programming, we have tools for machine learning. Similarly, whatever the data you have Excel sheets, right? Whatever with respect to whatever the thing. We can use this tool without programming knowledge, drag and drop, but we require 1 or 2 days to practice how I can utilize. In a simple way you can do, and you can generate number of papers. Yeah, Orange is a free version. Orange data mining tool. Orange data mining tool. So with respect to your field, you can conduct any activity, even I can deliver one day on individual tool usage. Just to give an idea how easy we can explore.
So we are extremely sorry, Dr. Rudresh, because of the shortage of time. So Rudresh, it is a wonderful session. Actually, our students need that R&D data mining tool analysis. So in near future, so whenever the time available for us, we will call you. And we will have a one-day workshop on this Orange tool, especially that is how to analyze the data. So once again, good afternoon to all of you for this lecture. So as the session ends with some ideas like design thinking and AI. So actually each noted many problems and ideas how to resolve the how to find the problems here. Okay, so even we are also facing one problem that for every function we need to have an attendance. So session wise attendance, we are always asking session wise attendance, compulsory, all these things. But we are thinking that we have an idea in near future if anyone comes forward to design such kind of app that location based attendance system, we are thinking on this. Okay, which will be a GPS enabled. So if anybody is interested in doing such kind of an ideas, so definitely we will have in near future such kind of an app in the Kuyampo Hall. This is a completely location based and GPS enabled attendance system. So once again, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to Dr. R.N. Manguli sir for handling this particular these 2 days session. Thank you very much.
Now time to hear some words from the participants. If somebody is interested to share the feedback, they are.
Good evening everyone, present over here. I as a participant, as a representative of all the participants, I would like to thank for the great session. I sincerely thank the organizers for organizing this insightful session on patent filing. The program was very informative and provided a clear understanding of patent processes from idea generation to securing intellectual property rights. I especially appreciate the practical guidance and examples that were shared during the session, which made it easier for all the innovators gathered here and researchers to navigate the patent system, the patent filing system. The session also highlighted the importance of protecting innovation to prompt the research, entrepreneurship, and technological advancement that are happening in India today. Last but not the least, I thank Rani Channamma University for this excellent workshop. I look forward for more such initiatives in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rajiv, for your valuable feedback. Madhavi, madam.
Good evening, everyone present over here. It has been a great privilege to be a part of this 4-day workshop on research practices and patent filing for faculty and research scholars organized by N.I.R.F Cell under the PM USHA MERU project at Rani Channamma University on 12th and 13th of September 2025. At the very outset, I would like to appreciate and thank the organizing team led by Professor R.S. Manguli, Professor Shivanu sir, and their dedicated team for meticulously planning and executing this program in such a professional and seamless manner reflect their commitment and professionalism. Thank you, sir. The session over the past 2 days have been extremely enriching. The keynote address by Ravichandran Krishnamurthy has highly insightful. He highlighted the importance of N.I.R.F ranking and gave us a practical strategy to improve institutional performance, such as strengthening translational research, better use of government grants, and developing centralized research repositories. His talk has motivated us to rethink our institutional practices in line with national benchmarks, with due respect to ethical practices in research and innovations. Equally enriching were the technical sessions by the two distinguished resource persons, Dr. Praveen Kumar MP and Dr. Rudresh M. Both of them, with their expertise, captivated participants with clear, structured, and interactive sessions. Thank you, sir. And they gave us the comprehensive understanding of IPR, patent filing, and step-by-step guidance on drafting patent, the practical demonstration on open source patent searching databases, design and innovative thinking practices, and the use of AI tools to enhance research and innovation strategies were especially valued.
And the entire program was conducted with precision and discipline. With the session started on time. Along with the academic aids, we also have the hospitality expense course, including a delicious lunch arrangement was also noteworthy. On behalf of all the participants, I sincerely thank the N.I.R.F Cell, Rani Channamma University, and the resource person, Dr. Praveen Kumar, MB, and the Dr. Rudresh M and Dr. Krishnamurthy for organizing and the entire team for organizing the degree speaking workshop. I am confident that the knowledge and the skill we have gained here will greatly contribute to our research journey and institutional development. Thank you, Anand.
Thank you, sir, for the elaborative feedback.
Good evening to the dignitaries on the rise and on the rise. I am Adeli, research scholar from the Department of Commerce. The workshop was insightful and well organized, I can say. And the program was perfectly blended with theoretical as well as the practical knowledge regarding the research practices and as well as patent filing, which was new to us for the social science background scholars. And even it has elaborated on new AI tools in the field of research, which is the must and the top of the town nowadays, I can say. The program was meticulously coordinated, and also it was like very simple and easy to follow the sessions. The resource persons were too friendly as well as they have cleared our doubts. And case studies have helped us. And even the examples have helped us to connect it to the practical world, as well as it helped us for the interactions. Just like as we enjoyed today's meal as compared to yesterday, the same way the session was enriched and it has fulfilled our minds. Overall, the program was very valuable program, I can say, and which has encouraged us all, research scholars and the faculties and all the audiences to inculcate all this knowledge, leaving both knowledge and experience as a memorable takeaway. Thank you, and all.
जननी जन्म भूमि ಸ್ವರ್ಗದ ಬಿಗಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದವರೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದಂತ ಇದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆ ದಟ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ವೈಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ ಬಟ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಟೆಲ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನೆವರ್ ಕಮ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಲಾ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದಾಗ ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದು ಕೂರಿಸಿ ಅದು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಿಂತಲೂ ಒಂದು 25 ಜನ ಬಂದ್ರು ಅವರನ್ನ ರೀಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಇಲ್ಲೇ ನೀವು ಪೇಟೆಂಟ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಆಗಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಅವ್ನು ಡ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಅವನಿಗೂ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಬ್ರೈಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಹಂಗಾದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ 2,500 ಫೈನ್ ಒಂದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು ಹೊರಟು ನಾನು ಆರ್ಗನೈಸರ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕರೆದ ಪೊಲೈಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಸೈಡ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕರೆದಾಗ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ವರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಇದೆ ನಾನು ಒಪ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಬಟ್ ಒಬ್ಬ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟರ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಧಾನಮಂತ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋ ವೇಟೇಜ್ಗಿಂತಲೂ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳೋ ವೇಟೇಜ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನೀವು ಆರ್ಗನೈಸರ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟರ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ 100 ಕೋಟಿಗಳನ್ನ ಈಗ ನಾವು ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಅದು ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಹೊಂದುತ್ತಿರುವ ದೇಶ ಹೊರತು ನಾಟ್ ಎ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಡ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಖ್ತಿಯಾರ್ ಖಿಲ್ಜಿ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದ ಮೇಲೆ ದಾಳಿ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಬಹಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತವನ್ನ ಪ್ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಕಾರಣ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ದಾಳಿಗಳಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಹಾಗೇನೆ ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಅದು ಉಪಯೋಗ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓವರ್ ಆಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಬಟ್ ಸರ್ ಅದು ಕ್ಲಸ್ಟರ್ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿನೇ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ನಾವು ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಬಂದು ಕೂಡಂಗ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇದು ಇಬ್ಬರದು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಬಹಳ ಆಗಿದೆ.
conclusion of this workshop. It's our responsibility to present out of time, and I call upon Dr. Mahesh Kumar and my assistant professor. Please maintain silence. We have come to the conclusion of the program. Now is the overview.
This workshop is not only aimed to train the young minds of research, it is highlighting that patent and intellectual property is not only for the few restricted branches, but it is open to all subjects. So for this, we have requested our research persons to train and illustrate with examples, and I think our research persons lecture was fruitful for you all. So with this, I propose a vote of thanks. First, I thank Dr. Rudresh, Associate Professor, Department of Robotics and Artificial Engineering, Sagar University, College, Bengaluru, on behalf of Rani Channamma University, N.I.R.F Cell, Rani Channamma University, Belagavi. I also thank another resource person, Dr. Praveen Kumar, MP, Associate Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, deemed to be University, Bengaluru, on behalf of Rani Channamma University and the N.I.R.F Cell. I also thank Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Registration, Finance Officer, and those who all supported directly or indirectly to organize this workshop. I also thank Dean, Professors, faculty members, guest faculty, and all research scholars of Rani Channamma University for making this workshop successful. I also thank Professor Manugudi, Chairman N.I.R.F Cell, Professor Shivanand Gornade, Santosh Lakshman Gauravar for organizing the workshop, and also thank Ms. Amruta for anchoring this workshop. Thank you.
Thank you all for your cooperation in the participation, and certificates are distributed here only at the front of the auditorium. There is a national anthem. I request everyone to stand up for the national anthem.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जल वितरंगा तव शुभ नामे जापे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
बोलो भारत माता की जय। बोलो भारत माता की जय।